Welcome to the tragic story of the Navajo's long walk. This is an arduous journey, where the resilient spirit of the Navajo people is tested and forged through harsh trials. This journey is not only an event in history, but also a symbol of the struggle, hope and steadfastness of a people. Join me on this emotional journey, where the past still resonates in the memories of the Navajo people, reminding us of the pain and sacrifices they went through. This journey, although challenging, could not overcome the strong will of the Navajo people to protect and rebuild their homeland, culture, and future. In a remote place between the deserts of Arizona and New Mexico, the Navajo people live peacefully in simple but cozy villages. They live, farm and raise livestock on the land their ancestors left behind for many generations. The Navajo people have a rich culture with unique traditions and rituals passed down through generations. They live close to nature, in harmony with heaven and earth and the spirits of their ancestors. But amid the territorial expansion of the United States, this peace is threatened. Navajo, causing conflicts and tensions. To meet the need for territorial expansion and resource exploitation, the United States military, under the command of Colonel Kit Carson, began conducting fierce military campaigns to force the Navajo people to relocate from the area. Their homeland, villages were burned, crops destroyed, and wells poisoned, to undermine the self-sufficiency of the Navajo, forcing them to leave their beloved land. In early 1864, when U.S. troops entered the Navajo villages, painful scenes spread everywhere. Towering flames from burning houses, the villages that the Navajo people had built and preserved for centuries were devastated. The fields that had just sprouted green rice seedlings in spring were suddenly engulfed in fire and smoke. The well, the community's source of life, was filled with rocks and sand. This was not just a simple relocation, but an attack on the survivalist nature of the Navajo people. Fear and helplessness were evident on every face. Every citizen had to witness unimaginably dark days. Carleton and Ayanna, along with their young son Taki, are among the Navajo villagers caught up in the U.S. military's whirlwind of relocation. They witnessed their beloved homes burn under the fire, and the fields where budding crops were destroyed. Pride and strong attachment to the land and descendants have been passed down from generation to generation. Now, only confusion and fear remain in the future, not knowing where to stop. They do not know that ahead is a long journey, full of hardships and challenges, where resilience and hope are the only things that will help them overcome unimaginable hardships. From January 1864, more than 9,000 Navajos, including Carleton, Ayanna, and their young son Taki, began the arduous journey from their homeland in Arizona to Bosque Redondo, New Mexico. They had to travel more than 300 miles on foot, through hot flat plains and craggy hills. This was a harrowing journey that lasted for many weeks, in harsh weather conditions. Deprived of food and water, they faced the pain of exhaustion, illness, and the cruelty of their guards. With every step, they feel the great loss of their homeland and the danger of an unknown future. The long journey from the Navajo homeland to Bosque Redondo became an unimaginable nightmare. On the harsh journey, about 00300 Navajo people had to endure the pain of loss, when they could not resist suffering from hunger, disease, and exhaustion. Standing in the face of death, they faced the brutality of their guards, who not only displaced them, but also further devastated the remaining resilient spirits. On a road hundreds of miles long, every step they take is a new challenge, from the harshness of nature to the cruelty of humans. Many times they prayed that one day they would be able to return to their land, but their hope was often extinguished under the hateful eyes of the soldiers. Their fate was not only a personal loss, but also part of the great pain and damage to the entire Navajo nation. Finally, the survivors reached Bosque Redondo, where new life struggled again against adversity, with the darkness of the past still lingering. Upon arriving at Bosque Redondo, the Navajo people were surprised to discover that the area was completely unable to meet their basic needs of life. The land here is dry, the grasslands are gray, and cannot grow crops or raise livestock. Groundwater is meager and not enough to supply thousands of people and livestock. The living conditions in the concentration camps were extremely pathetic, with tents made of primitive materials, providing no protection from the cold winter wind or the hot summer sun. Disease spread quickly, and hunger and thirst caused many Navajo people to continue to die tragically. Here, their freedom and cultural identity were seriously threatened, and their suffering became indescribable. In 1868, after many attempts at negotiation in a dire situation at Bosque Redondo, the Navajo finally got the treaty they had been waiting for. The United States government signed the Navajo Treaty to allow them to return to their homeland. This is an important event, marking the end of the miserable migration that has lasted for many years. Even though they carry deep wounds from the harrowing times at Bosque Redondo, the Navajo people are proud of the resilience and determination they have demonstrated. They began to rebuild their lives with hope and effort, attached to the land and culture they had once lost. This harrowing journey is not only a part of their history, but also a symbol of the tenacity and resilience of the Navajo people. The long journey of the Navajo is one of the clearest examples of the brutality that Native Americans endured during United States territorial expansion. This event left deep wounds in the history and culture of the Navajo people. However, it also symbolizes the resilience and determination of the Navajo people in protecting and rebuilding their homeland and culture. Today, the Navajo Nation is the largest tribal land in the United States, and the Navajo people continue to preserve and develop their culture, language, and traditions. The long journey is an important part of this history, reminding us of the suffering they went through and their resilience in overcoming difficulties. Our story of the Navajo people's long journey may end here, but their lives and history continue. Today, the Navajo Nation is one of the largest indigenous communities in the United States, where the Navajo people continue to preserve and develop their culture, language, and traditions. They overcame great challenges, from the tragic exodus to the subsequent reconstruction and recovery efforts. Today, the Navajo is not only a cultural symbol, but also a shining example of human resilience and adaptability in the face of injustice and difficulties in life. They are continuing to write new pages of history, full of hope and resilience, to demonstrate the strength and perseverance of the Navajo people.